Aquarius Maximus. Welcome to the Highly Emotional Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I've been super excited to have you on my platform and to hear about, directly hear about the knowledge that you have regarding cardiology and how it works and how it applies to the world. I've been seeing a lot of your posts in regards to like politics, celebrities, even when it comes to us as people and how it works. Can you dive in a little bit for me about it?
So cardiology is what I consider to be like a blueprint to energy, really, most people know that all energy really is numbers, like it has numeric values, and because there's so many things, obviously those numbers get to be really big. So imagine if your mind could categorize all energy that exists, which you couldn't, and actually access it. This is like on a computer level, but you have something that instead has broken down many of these things and these numeric values and energies and stuff into a deck of 52 playing cards. So if you look at it, of course, it's 52, and that number is significant because there's 52 weeks in a year. Mm-hmm. And the deck of playing cards is like a calendar, So essentially what it is when we're talking about cardiology is we're talking about the energy that one is born into or anything is born into. So these 52 cards, they represent days in the 365-day calendar. They represent days. So there are some days that there are multiple cards that are assigned to a day. And then there's some days that only one card, you only have that one day for that card. And when you're born on a particular day, then you are born into the energy of that card that represents that day. And what that card represents really is a bunch of different potential karmic energies that are associated with that day. Your makeup, what's your karmic makeup? What's your number, right? Just like in numerology, what's your number, your different numbers that you're born into. But anything that occurs on that day is born on that day, even an event, So you can turn on the news and this big event happened and it happened on this particular day. Well, that's the birthday of that event. So that event is also associated with that card. You know what I mean? So it gives you a blueprint to be able to track energies, and kind of categorize them to say, this day is associated with this day is associated with that. And it gives you a very, very quick way and a very organizational way of not only just being able to do predictions, but kind of being able to quantify what energy is present right now in whatever situation. What potential, what is the energetic potential of today? Like for instance, today is a 10 of Hearts day. So what is the energetic potential of today? What are the types of things that are likely to occur today? How am I likely to feel today? Who am I likely to connect with today? What are my plans going to be today? All of that is going to be connected to this particular energy.
So using me as an example, when you're saying this, because I've heard you speak about like the amount of letters in your name or your birthday or the year you were born, how does this like apply and what meanings does it have? So for example, I'm born February 6, 1990, and my birth name is Lachey. Mm-hmm. So how do these like play into my genetic makeup or into my timeline in a sense?
So what you'll find is like the birthday and the card that you have. Even names will be associated with that card. You ever notice how there's certain people like you might know 4 or 5 people with the same name? You know what I mean? Like me, I oftentimes run into Derek's, Eric's, any derivation of that. I know a lot of people with Derek and Eric. I remember one day I was getting my nails done by a woman and I knew her card. I found out her card. She was a 3 of diamonds. And then she made a phone call and she called her daughter. And her daughter's name was Nyla, right? Well, my daughter's name is Nyla and she is a 3 of diamonds. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be in the same order, but she's a 3 of diamonds and she's associated with a Nyla. And I have a Nyla who is a 3 of diamonds. So even when it comes to names, you'll find that there'll be names that are associated with cards too. So it's interesting because I'm also a priestess of Ifa. And
that's so crazy. I would literally just talk to my mom about priestess, and it's so crazy. But anyways, sorry, I had to throw that out there. Go ahead though.
So and when we get initiated, usually we're given a name during our initiation, and that name is going to be associated with what's called your Odu, right? So if you get a particular Odu, there's a whole list of names that you can possibly be named. But that's the thing with cardology. If you are an Ace of Hearts, there's going to be a basket of names that you're probably going to choose from to name your child. And it doesn't even have to be the same spelling. It could be just some derivation of this name is what you're likely going to name your kid.
That's dope. So with the numbers, what do they like represent? So you said I'm a 6 of...
You're a 6 of spades.
So what is that like? What does that technically, in a sense, like mean? Like, is there certain gifts? Is there certain traits?
Absolutely.
So what, like...
So the sixes deal with karma.
Pick up the mic for me.
Oh, sorry. Sixes, I'm so used to being on the thing without the headphones or whatever. But so the sixes deal with karma. And the 6 of spades is the highest karma of all karmas. You know what I mean? So like you could say that you're the king of karma. When
you're saying this, I'm like, is that the reason why I feel like I'm the one here to like break generational curses?
Yeah, you definitely have a special purpose. That's what, sixes deal with, special purposes. People who have a predefined path of things that they are going to do, an impact that they're going to make on the world and make on other people. And you're a 6 of spades. So one of the things about sixes is all sixes, like 6 of hearts, 6 of clubs, 6 of spades, 6 of diamonds, is they tend to plant seeds, right? And these are seeds that never go away. You know what I mean? So there's something that you're going to do and you do in life that's going to be totally unforgettable. No, people are not going to forget you. Like Bob Marley, he's a 6 of spades.
Oh my gosh. There's a lot of people who tell me I remind them of Bob Marley. And I'm like, I don't see it. Like, I don't see it at all. They're like, you sure you're not Bob Marley's son? And I'm like, no. Like, why do y'all say that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So Bob Marley is the 6 of spades. So is Marvin Gaye, 6 of spades. So these are people, through their music, they make this lasting impact that the music just it's the gift that keeps on giving. You know what I mean? People are going to use their music continuously. Their music is going to vibrate on a certain frequency. It's going to be unforgettable, all of that. So thus it encompasses what you are as a 6 of spades, and you're meant to be unforgettable. Because you're meant to signal a time in someone's life that there's going to be some type of turning point. You know what I mean? Like even now, the fact that I'm coming and I just met a 6 of spades, that means that some type of turning point's about to happen in my life. You know what I mean? So I look forward to that because I'm like, being a spiritual person, that means a whole lot to me. Other people, they don't pick it up.
Yeah.
But we are all living omens. That's what we do in cardology. You know how back in the days, like they had Quetzalcoatl, right? Mm-hmm. The feather, he's the white feather servant guy, right? He was a meaning. He had meaning to people, right? And he meant that there was going to be a big turning point. So he could have been a 6 of spades or an ace of spades, right? So when these people show up, like if you're an ace of spades, which is the card of transformation, then that means, guess what? There's about to be something. There's about to be a major transformation when these people show up. So I have a friend who's an ace of spades, and she's like, yeah, every time I start a new job, they're reconstructing the job.
Yeah.
They're building new wings, firing people,
that's a great observation.
People.
Yeah.
That's her.
That's a great observation.
Yeah. So she visited her aunt 2 weeks ago. And she was like, man, when I got there, it's like everything didn't change. found out things about, things and all this other stuff, and they had to change up everything. And I was like, but that's what you mean. Yes, that's what so you're walking on.
So you're pretty much everywhere you go, there's an opportunity for change, or change is emitting at that time.
Yeah, you're depositing, you're bringing your energy to, the situation.
That's dope. So then let me ask you a question. So with you having this knowledge, how does this help you pretty much move in the matrix or in the world, like based upon the numbers? So do you start your day with tuning in or reading the numbers, and you're like, all right, well, I'm not going over there because this day, this number, or this and that? Because that's kind of like with everything, like you calling me, I was like, okay, maybe it's a little off. Maybe the numbers ain't right. Maybe, like, I was just like, maybe that's how it works for her. So that's what I'm saying. Like with this knowledge, are you aware? You're like, all right, well, today this event is going to happen, so I'm not going to participate in it. Or today I'm going to take some time away, or however.
So whatever your energy is, like if you could have energy that's like very strong, like for instance, like a Queen of Clubs. Queen of Clubs people, their energy is chaotic and disruptive.
Like in a bad way?
Well, it depends on how your perception of it. You know what I mean? So you know how we use the word we use the word in tech when we say this is a disruption, you know what I mean? Like we're disrupting the industry. That's supposed to be like a good thing. Okay. So you come up with something really great that has progressed and advanced the industry. But then you got little kids that'll come in and interrupt and disrupt what you're working on, right?
True.
And then adults get mad. Well, that's what happens with a Queen of Clubs throughout their life, especially when they're young. They disrupt the lives of their parents, So they may be an unplanned child, which is going to be disruptive. Like, oh, I didn't plan this. What am I going to do? You know? So they feel and sense that. So their whole existence is disrupted. So even when they come in, they may come in to ask you a question while you're in the middle of recording something. They can't help it. That's just their energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I got a Queen of Clubs son now. And they're usually very talented. He's talented. He's a musician and everything. But his timing with me is like, you know what I mean? So I got plans to do this, and here he comes. Can you take me here?
Yeah.
I gotta go here.
Yeah.
It's an emergency.
So with that being said, do you learn to not take it personal based upon his card in a sense?
Right. But he don't understand still. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I can probably receive him better than other people. Other people are gonna be irritated.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, why you keep it?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
They're gonna be irritated with him. But me, I know what it is. So I'm like, okay, I know what it is. But other people are gonna be like, why is he so annoying? That type of thing. But then when he gets older, and it's like the disruption continues, right? So, but this is designed to make him a certain way, right? So if you know that you're disruptive, you're going to ultimately become more self-reliant.
Yeah, because you don't want to throw people off in a sense. So now you're aware of like, I'm a disruptor, so I have to use this as a strength in a sense. Okay, let me become aware when I need to disrupt.
Right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm not gonna call on them because they're gonna be busy. So I'm just gonna go do this myself.
So another thing. So based upon the cards, it's not. So a queen doesn't have to be a woman. No. A king doesn't have to be a man, and it's just how it aligns up.
It's proof that the way we structure our energy, which is partially correct, because there is going to be the majority of the people are going to fit within their gender, whatever, right? But there's going to be a whole bunch of people that don't fit in that. There are going to be men who were born queens and women who were born kings.
I'm thinking about energy when you're saying it. I'm thinking about femininity and masculinity.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Okay.
And women who are born kings, these are going to be women who are leaders, initiators. They don't need anybody, do whatever. They have gifts to give and to initiate and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And they're going to be powerful. So they're going to need to be to have people who are going to support, who are going to be a part of their kingdom. Because a king has to make a kingdom.
That's fire.
Yeah,
that's bars.
That's what they do. Yeah.
So I see you talk about how this plays into politics. So how does this work in the structure that we have going on right now with the whole political campaigns and whatnot, as far as Kamala and Trump?
Well, Kamala's a king. She's a 2 of clubs, but her transformation card is the king of spades.
How do you find?
She's the king of all kings.
What's a transformation card?
So that your transformation card is who you become over time. Like,
so you can change your card.
No. Your card does. You get different card energies, but this is a card energy that you're born with, but you don't come fully into it until you grow into it. You understand what I'm saying? So, like a king of spades is going to be somebody very powerful, very intelligent and very actionable and stuff like that. But you may not be born that way. You may be born really meek. I find that some cards, even people are born with disabilities. You know what I mean? So like a 10 of clubs, oftentimes they have speech disabilities when they're born, but they are the masters of speech. They grow to be talkers. That's they grow to be speakers. They grow to be rappers.
Yeah.
All of that. But when they was little, they stuttered. Or they didn't start talking till they was 3 or 4 years old. You know what I mean? So that's who she is. So people will say, well, she doesn't look strong or and she might be nervous when she's talking, but the more she talks, the more powerful she's going to become.
That's dope.
The more power situation she gets put in,
the more she's going to
the more her king of spades is going to come out.
That's fire. So then in comparison, what is Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is a 3 of diamonds, like Diddy, like what's his name? Bill Cosby. 3 of diamonds.
What does that mean though? Like, cause you're saying the connection. I'm like, these guys are master deceivers in a sense.
Yeah. So this is the thing. I talked about the 3 of diamonds before. They're very mystical people, right? They are a part of the twin energy, right? And I talked about this online. Typically, they incarnate with a twin that doesn't make it on the other side, right? There's a battle between the twin a lot because a lot of times the twin is what you would consider to be the evil side, and they are the good side, right? But throughout their lives, they go through all these spiritual experiences where this twin is trying to incarnate in their current life. You know what I mean? And kind of wreak havoc in what they built.
So it's kind of
like your evil twin.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So it's kind of like a split personality.
It's a split personality. And it's more likely to come out if you drink alcohol and do drugs.
Ooh. That's tough. That's deep. So how did you get into this?
So I've been into astrology for years. I've been a psychic for years. I don't even know if it was like, it's been well over 10 years. And I keep saying 10 years, it's been like 15 years. But around 15 years ago, I got a reading from a cardologer. And it just kind of blew my mind, like the information in these cards. And I wanted to know more. So I started to study, got the books and stuff like that. But I was feeling like this isn't it. This isn't enough. There's more. Because back then, the things that I'm talking about now, nobody was talking about that, at least not in the public. See, I can't say that this stuff came from the lodge as of recently, like the Mason Lodge and stuff like that. So I can't say if they knew about this in the lodge or didn't know about this because I wasn't in the lodge. All I can tell you is the things that I've been teaching, no one else has been teaching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So about back then, I was very frustrated and, I kind of was like, man, I really want to learn this. Like, I feel like there's more to this and I want to learn that more. So I got a visitation one day. Everybody
like
always,
a spiritual visitation?
Yeah, okay. Everybody always talks about the visitation that happens. And I'm not like a woo-woo person, but it really did happen.
Yeah.
And the visitation was like, that man said, so you want to learn the cards. And after that, the cards started speaking to me individually every day. Like a new card would just
like a playing deck of cards, right?
Yeah, like the card itself would talk to me, would tell me everything about itself, you know? And that's one of the things that people fail to realize is that the idea that there are spirits in everything, like even in colors.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's crazy because most people play with playing cards and they don't realize that it's spiritual. But go ahead.
Yeah, there's spirits that reside in everything. There's spirits that reside in colors. There are spirits that reside in numbers. There are numbers of spirits, like a number. You might pull 9,009, and that's a spirit.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing with the cards. So the cards were able to tell me what they were and what they were about.
So were you accepting of it or were you at first resistant?
No. See, I'm a projector in human design. I don't know if you know about human design.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Are you familiar with human design?
I know a little bit of a lot of things. So,
well, human design projectors are like natural knowers and teachers. Mm-hmm. Like we just know things. There's no question. There's no dispute. We're not going to sit here and say, "Is this?" No, we're going to know. Mm. So I knew when those cards started talking to me. I knew that they were.
So when you picked it up, did you like what took place then? Did you start instantly reading them or did you do trial and error of things?
Well, what I started doing was writing what they were telling me. Mm. So I would post things on Facebook because that's where I got really known first. And I started doing the card of the day and I was just writing what the card of the day was. And that got to be really popular because people would almost watch it like it was a weather report. Like, this is going to be the energy of the day. Let me watch this. I want to see that. I did that every day for a few years. So this is today's the Ten of Hearts. These are some of the things you can expect today. And these would just be channels that would come from me and that would show me and that would tell me. And I would write it down and I would tell everybody else.
So did they align every time or did you have times where it would be off?
No, it's always on because the beautiful thing is they're telling me in real time that energy of that day. So it's like it would prove itself. You know what I mean? So I tell you, like for instance, if let's see what a ten of hearts, what would I be looking for a Ten of Hearts? So Ten of Hearts, it already happened. You might meet somebody with a big family because Ten of Hearts represents big families. You know what I mean? So it may not even be a big family. You might meet somebody that has a lot of friends who are their family. So they're going to have something of a lot of people around them some way, form, or fashion. That's who you're going to meet. It's performing, anything to do with performing. It's interesting because, like I said, I don't usually hold the mic, but this is definitely a Ten of Hearts thing.
Speaking on bars, yeah.
This is definitely a Ten of Hearts thing. So you gave me...
You in my recording studio, by the way. So
another Ten of Hearts thing.
Yeah.
So I can expect this fits in what I would encounter on a Ten of Hearts day. And we also mentioned, I know we mentioned Bob Marley, which is interesting because Ten of Hearts is also associated with Rastafarian. It's associated with marijuana. It's associated with all of those things.
I got locks. I smoke weed. That's dope.
So people would think I'm just the best psychic.
That's what I was about to ask you.
Come in and I'll just be like, before I even think, and say, well, I'm probably going to run into this, and then it happens, and it happens to them. They can't deny it. So I never got a person that came and said, that's not true. Because I would tell them things that they would actually encounter when they read that. Because it would make them pay attention.
So with the psychic abilities, psychic abilities that you have, how do they work for you? Besides just the cards.
Well, the psychic ability, I think, relaxes me enough to observe everything. You know what I mean? To say that that's important. Let me make a mental note of that. You you know.
So it builds
whereas
your awareness.
other people, they may not pay attention to the subtle things. I pay attention to all the subtle things. So I'm like, okay, categorizing more things, you know. Oh, okay, let me make a mental note of that.
That's fire. So what specific ways or things like stand out in a sense like that is consistent along having that ability? Like, is it the way that people look? Is the body language? Is it, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think for me, it just becomes about the interconnectedness of things. Like everything is connected, you know? And for a Scorpio, with a Scorpio stellium, as an investigator, that's like super important. You know what I mean? It's like you're a walking investigator.
So you constantly reading everything to see. Are you searching for messages, or are you just?
No,
it's just.
I'm just putting things together like a puzzle in like real time. You know, so it's like everything. The answers to everything starts to unfold. It's like you're walking and the story is being made as you're moving.
But you already
unfolding.
know what's in a sense on how it's going to unfold. Is just
but it also makes you more comfortable, makes you feel more secure. You know, protected. You know, takes away your fear.
That's a dope superpower. I'm super empathetic in nature. Like that became my. That's why my podcast is called The Highly Emotional Podcast, because I used to think that being so emotional was a bad thing. I'm like, why am I so fucking emotional? But now I'm at the point where like I can feel and take on someone's energy, and it literally affects me the way that I'm feeling instantly. If you're sad, I can feel it literally from across the room. I can be like, yo, someone in here is sad. Someone here is.
That's because of your Mercury card. So your Mercury card is the Queen of Hearts. Which is a psychic sponge. That's what the Queen of Hearts is, because Queen of Hearts is ruled by Neptune.
So this ties into astrology.
It has the planetary energy is involved in it. So every card, like I told you, you're a Six of Clubs, but you actually have a full spread. So you have a full spread. You have planets that are in particular that cards that are, you know, in a planetary. In a proximity, a planetary proximity. So, like for instance, people don't, you know, as they say, as above, so below.
Yeah.
So the planets have a proximity to one another, and then they also have a proximity to you. So even if we configure ourselves in a seating arrangement, we also are playing out the proximity of the planets. So, like you sit next to me right now, that's Mercury. So what are we doing? Having a conversation. We're talking, right? 2 seats over, that's Venus. So in order for me to communicate with Venus, I have to get up. I got to shake Venus's hand because Venus is a little far away. I have to get more social. I got to make more of an effort, right? Then 3 planets over there is Mars. You know what I mean? So now I got to get really aggressive because I got to get through all of the social atmosphere and energy to get to Mars over there now. You know, or else Mars is going to feel a certain way. I feel kind of left out. You know, and that's going to make Mars aggressive. So Mars might get up and shake my hand. You know what I mean?
To it. Yeah.
And then a little bit further down is Jupiter. And I'm curious about Jupiter because Jupiter's so far down, right? And then also because Jupiter far down, Jupiter got to speak a little louder. Got to be a little bit bolder if Jupiter wants to be seen. And that's like the Sag energy, and speak louder.
Yeah.
So that's that Sag over there.
I gotta make it apparent that I'm here in a sense.
Right. So you can sit everybody in seats, and they're going to be reflective of that planetary energy that they're in. And this is the cards. The cards are in a spread, right? So like if I shuffle, there are special shuffles that we use, but if I shuffle and I lay out each card, the first card, which is going to be significator, is going to be the sun. Then the next card is going to be Mercury because it's right next to the sun, just like Mercury is next to the sun. This card.
Yeah.
So that's how the planetary energy begins to unfold. And then even the astrological energy, because the sun rules a sign, Mercury rules signs, Venus rules signs. So it's all in these little pieces, and I could just dig down and drill down into all this information and find out more information.
And just keep on breaking it down piece by piece. That's cool. I was gonna say, so how does cardology work in like relationships? So, for example, my wife is a Virgo. How does this tell you on what relationship?
What's her birthday? Card.
September 3rd.
Okay, so she is a 10-9-8. Nope, sorry, 10, 8. So she's an 8 of diamonds. So y'all are card related. 6 of spades and 8 of diamonds are card related. I believe, what does the 6 of spades have an 8 of diamonds in? Has a king of spades in Jupiter. 10, so that next one will be 10 of clubs in Saturn. And, oh, no, not 10 of clubs in Saturn. You have a king of spades in Jupiter. Oh, so then Mars, because king of spades is Mercury. So she's Mars to you.
What does that mean? Sorry. I gotta ask you because you got my mind wondering so much.
So when somebody's Mars to you, y'all do a lot of work together. Goal-oriented direction. You know what I mean? Mars. So, some people are ruled by Mars, have more of a Mars rulership. Some people don't. But believe it or not, a lot of couples that get together are Mars couples, right? Because that Mars drew you in. Something fiery. People think that's that initial attraction or connection, that fire, right? A lot of people that's what makes them feel like, okay, this is supposed to be something. There's something here, is the fire part. So you have a lot of fire couples, you know what I mean, that come together. But when you have someone with Mars, then you're here to either uplift that person. That person's here to uplift you in a mission. So y'all are both like that ignition to make sure that y'all get this work done. You know what I mean?
That's dope. You saying that makes me like I'll value my woman so much because that's one thing like I notice about her and me. Like I'm the more like creative, wild one. Mm-hmm. She's the one like structure. That's why I said,
eight of diamonds. My mother's an 8 of diamonds.
Yeah, putting you on a schedule. She's the one who's. Mm-hmm. I'm the other person. I'm like, hit me up. We gonna do it. Like, so that's dope. So with knowing this knowledge, does this like, can you tell how long people are gonna be together based upon this?
Yeah, you can. But you can also give them the blueprint if they want to be together forever. There's a blueprint. It's just totally up to you. It's not as incircumstantial as people think it is. You know what I mean? So it's like...
So you can have control over it?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I think that's why we are being more introduced to cardology now, so that we can take more control over our lives and stop thinking that everything is left up to quote-unquote destiny.
Bars.
That's a Piscean thing, and we're coming out of the age of Pisces. We're now in the age of Aquarius, right? So Aquarius is you have more power, so to speak. You as an individual, you have more power over your individual choices in life, and your awareness of your power becomes more evident.
Is that why I feel the way that I feel now in comparison to how I used to feel?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's because think about it like this. Pisces is water. When you get out there in the ocean, I mean, you can learn how to swim really good, but it's very hard.
In the ocean?
Yes. Yeah, because a wave could come along and just knock you out.
And your body gonna get tired. Yeah.
You're gonna get tired eventually. All of that. So your power is limited. You feel like you're in the, you're kind of caught up in the element when you're there, right? That's how powerful water is. But then, Aquarius, when we're moving into the age of air now, air is lighter. You have more lighter, more flexibility. You can see a little bit clearer. You can see a lot clearer. So and you're not fighting against the tide, so to speak. You're more like, okay, so because a lot of times you don't even really want to fight against the tide. However, you're trying to go that way, the tide's trying to go this way, right? But in the age of air, you create things that harness the air to go in the direction that you want to go. But in the ocean, you can't change the direction of the wave. Yeah,
you just gotta. Yeah, you gotta go with it. You gotta. What is it? it's something along the lines where you have to go with the is it the tide or
the tide.
Follow the tide, something like that.
Yeah, and see the thing about air.
It's cool. I still have that one. You're good.
Oh, okay. The thing about air is we built all types of machines to change the direction of air. Fans, air conditioned, heat, all change the direction of air wherever we want it to go.
That's dope. You have me charged up. You got me thinking. I was about to ask you some question. Now it left my mind because the camera cut off. But no, this is powerful. So what are the differences between tarot and cardology? Like, is that a bad question?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay. Because I feel like maybe people might like compare them or get lost or think that they're the same or something like that.
Well, tarot is more, I guess you could say, left brain, creative, interpretive, and cardology is more right brain, logical, mathematical.
Because math is the language of the universe.
Calculations, calculative. And, it's said that, there's rumors that say that the Catholic Church created a tarot to divert people away from the cards because the cards were too precise and exact. So it's that whole, do you know the time? Because when you know the time, you have a lot of power when you know exactly what time it is. You know what I mean? So they didn't want you to know the time. They don't want you to know exactly what time it is. You can have a little hint, and that's good. But they don't want you to know that, oh, I know what time it is. Like, I know what energy I'm working with right now, what powers I have and superpowers and so on. They don't want you to know that. They want you to be a couple steps behind. You know what I mean? So that exactness and I think the preciseness was a problem.
It was scaring people in a sense.
Well, not just scaring people because it's too precise, So if I'm trying to gain power over you and you got tools to precisely know what I'm doing right now at this moment and who I am, defeats the purpose. I'd rather keep you guessing. You know what I mean? So here's something to keep you guessing.
You have my mind. You have me charged up off of everything that you're saying. Sorry if I come off a little like, flabbergasted, but no, it's cool. So, I always hear like when it comes to like cardology that you're able to make predictions based upon what's going on with the world. So like, does that work with like natural disasters and politics? And so do you have like any predictions that you could drop?
I predicted a lot of stuff.
What was one of your spot on ones that you...
The pandemic.
Oh shit. How did it become revealed to you?
In 2017. And in 2019, that's really the beginning of it. And in 2017, I said that there was going to, almost word for word, I got it on social media, almost word for word. The pictures that I used was from the pandemic earlier where they had on masks. So they had a picture with people on masks. And I said, you need to start preparing for a coming pandemic.
Did people think that you was crazy, or did you deal with resistance?
They didn't really make them pay as much attention to it until afterward. And it was like, okay. Yeah. But I think that was probably the most spot on right there was the pandemic. And I do a lot of spot on stuff that it surprises me. And be like, oh, okay. They'd be like, oh my God, so-and-so, so-and-so. I'm like, okay. That's good to know.
That's fire. So if you don't mind me asking, what has you channeling? Is your birth name Aquarius? So what made you take on the name? What does it mean?
Well, it's definitely, I took on the name back in 2014. And at the time, I had a wrong birth time for my astrology. So we thought I was Aquarius rising. But it makes sense because that I'm Pisces rising, because Pisces is mystery. And oftentimes Pisces is secrecy and mystery. So that's talking about something mysterious and secret about my birth and who I am and my identity. So that put me on a lifelong journey of finding my identity. That's supposed to be part of my journey, is finding my identity, so my identity will keep evolving over time. I'm not supposed to stay the same.
So you're
identity.
constantly evolving, even now.
Yes, right. So I chose the name Aquarius Maximus, but it's interesting because even in the Vedic, Aquarius does rule my 12th house, where I have Jupiter, which is the Maximus part. So I'm really like Aquarius to the 10th power, which also points to my Uranus card in cardology, which is associated with Aquarius, is the 10 of hearts. Today's card is my Uranus card. So, and today transforms into the Queen of Spades, which is a card of my name. Aquarius Maximus is the Queen of Spades. So Queen of Spades is an authority. I needed this name to gain authority in my life. Tavana Evans, that's the King of Diamonds now. That's business.
So the names both represent two different entities in a sense.
So Tavana Evans is more like my business side, and Aquarius Maximus was like my spiritual side, right? But Aquarius Maximus is great in the business as well, so I made that choice. And that's what life is about, really. You prove your power when you're able to make choices.
Say that again. That was a bar.
You prove your power when you're able to make choices. Indecision can be a sign of weakness.
Indecision. So, in a sense, like what people say, a divided man is a weak man. That's fire. I like it. Man, I have so many questions. I'm like, I gotta pick.
That's why we have a side note. That's why Black folks have spades.
What does that mean?
Because spades, the card game.
Oh yeah,
it's a game of decision.
No. You got me charged up. I'm gonna read this back, and I'm gonna just learn so much more. We're gonna have to do this again. Back to the predictions. What predictions do you have for 2025? Well, if you don't mind sharing them with
there's going to be a division of perceptive realities, and it's already started, but it's going to be even stronger next year. And it can manifest as certain people feeling like they've been left behind, and certain people feeling like they're being pushed forward.
I feel like when you're saying that, it makes me think about the thing that a lot of people have been dropping off, is that new world versus the old world beliefs. Do you subscribe to that?
Yeah, because what we've been undergoing for a very long time, and I talked about this years ago. I talked about this way back in 2010, 2011. I've been talking about the pole shift. Right. So, but people thought that when we were referring to the pole shift, we're talking about the physical pole shift, which is the physical pole shift is taking place, but the physical pole shift is also in alignment with the spiritual pole shift that we're undergoing right now. So when we hit polar extremes, like men, women, white, black, whatever you magnetize towards, that it's going to eventually get to a point where it's going to switch polarities. You know what I mean? So, and then especially when you're talking about power polarities, right? And that's also kind of like a piece of karma. So I talked about this pole shift, especially between black and white. So what we're moving to within the black and white pole shift is you're starting to see white folks go through black experiences. You know what I mean? So that's why we have MAGA now. That's why you have white folks that feel oppressed. They feel like they're losing their power. Where did that sound like?
Shit, yeah. It sound like how we
and we have Karens.
Yeah, oh shit. Yeah. A Karen is, I don't want to say it. Yeah, that's crazy.
We have all of the things that
So wait. So Karen is a sense of the angry black woman.
Yes.
Wow, that's a divine connection. That is crazy. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So they picked up on that, and they call it the great replacement theory. That they're being replaced. And they tried to say it was immigrants, but they really mean us. Like, we're replacing them.
Wow. Oh my God.
Because we are.
We are like you. Nah, we definitely are. I think that we're definitely stepping into a new space, and I'm not even gonna say a new space. We're definitely stepping into our power now.
But it's not like a choice thing. It's not a choice thing. Believe it or not, it's not like, oh, I just want to replace you. No, it's not a choice. This is nature. You know what I mean? Because everything, they say everybody has their day in the sun. Everybody. So that is a seat that you're not going to keep forever. So we're having the pole shift, right? And at the same time, we're also having the masculine men women pole shift. You know, so where men have had power, now women are about to have power. You know, so there can be multiple pole shifts going on at the same time. There are North and South Korea. You know what I mean? You know, there's pole shifts going on all different levels.
Yeah, because now I'm thinking, because with what you're saying is making me think about how everyone's saying that a lot of what we're seeing now, as far as like the celebrities die out, being exposed, a lot of them are falling from, you know, that stigma or our belief on how we perceive celebrities.
But there's a polar shift on that. The polar shift on the celebrity axis is celebrities, spiritual people. That is the polar shift.
You're saying like celebrities are becoming more spiritual, or are you saying
they will become more spiritual? The spiritual people will become the new celebrities.
Oh shit! Now that makes me think about like 19 Keys and Yaki and wow. I'm gonna say myself too. What y'all talking about? Nah.
Yes.
But that's dope. Now, yeah, because now that I'm starting to see it, is that more people are stepping into like the spiritual space, and people are less resistant, because a couple years ago you couldn't talk about spirituality the way that you talk about it now.
There's tarot readers everywhere. You're on YouTube. Everybody's, you know, into. There's lots of different spiritual related blah blah blah. They're making their way up the ranks. Then now they will be the new celebrities. Do you
think that's bad, or do you believe like it's good? There's or no it's just I mean facts. I agree.
It's just what it is. You know, it's like trends, and it's interesting because today is the Ten of Hearts, which is the card of trends. This is how we get trends. You know what I mean? So this becomes a trend. That becomes a trend. You know, how does that happen? There's a science behind that. There's a polarity that's happening, that's being flipped for something to become a trend.
Did you ever deal with, like, when you would bring this up to like certain people, did you ever deal with like resistance of like where people were against it?
No.
So you never had to like have to convince anyone, or it's just or like you didn't care to?
No, I never really have to convince anybody because of who I am as a card. I'm not a convincer. You know, I'm a preparer. So, you know, people are to take this information and be prepared for it, because they will see the signs of what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So it's like I plant seeds, and you're going to see what I'm saying immediately. Like with your transiting day, you're going to go about your day. And if I was talking to a white guy and I said, there's a pole shift going on and y'all are going this way and we're going that way, he's going to go out and he's going to see some verification of it that he can't, you know what I mean?
That he just cannot.
He can't deny. You're like, well, damn, he might get pulled over by the police and get...
And the police be a black man?
He get thrown in jail. You know what I mean?
That's
like, what
crazy.
did I do?
And then he got a black judge? No,
I'm telling you, that's what happens. That is exactly what happens. So they get to see that the supremacy, the power that they had, they get to see that they did have a power. Because once you sometimes don't realize you had something until you lose it. So they don't know. A lot of them don't know. They don't know that they had any extra help or anything.
Yeah, somebody told me the other day is that, actually my brother said this, shout out to him. He said a lot of people don't realize the bad side of things because they benefit from the system. Because I was talking to my sister about how she perceived my mom in comparison to how I perceived my mom, and I had this like childhood, where I felt like I was mistreated. On the other hand, she's like, I never viewed things like that. You were just a bad kid, and I'm like, you know what it is. And my brother was like, well, that's because she was benefit from that system. But me, on the other hand, I witnessed it.
Yeah.
So at that point, she's not going to acknowledge, what you're going through because she's benefiting from it. So that makes
this is even just on an astrological level. This takes place. We see people that going through a transit and everything's going well for them. The next thing you know, they're going for a transit and they're losing everything. You know what I mean? So this happens everywhere in every part of life. No one's going to get away from it. So even the people in power are not going to always be in power like we think.
That's duality.
Yes. They had their day in the sun. You're going to have your day in the sun. What makes them have their day in the sun is that when things start happening over time for so long, you start to believe it, and the belief becomes strong, rock solid. So you create a strong, rock solid system based off the belief, because everything supports your belief. The evidence is there. The proof of the pudding is in the crust, like they say. You know what I mean? But then you go through a change to whereas you're losing things by the day, And I've been telling people, I'm like, the so-called elite that you call elite, you can't see they're losing their power.
Yeah, you definitely feel it now.
That's why they're so stressed out. I mean, Elon Musk is stressed out. You know what I mean? But we uphold we uphold the veil of things. You know what I mean? Because we're like the word on the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we can hyper focal on ourselves, but when it comes to others, we can't apply that same pattern to them because we don't have a reference point to when they didn't have. You know what I mean? So since we don't have a reference point, we're just assuming that they always gonna have.
Yeah, it makes me, as you're saying this, is unfolding like how like the old religions of the world are becoming like they're dying at this since you have less people going to church, you have less people voting, you have less people watching the news, you have less people in tune with like these government policies and whatnot. So it makes complete sense. And I feel like if you're not aware of this, if you're not conscious of what's going on, I don't know what to tell you because it's literally in front of our face. When I watch politics, I don't see the politics that I used to see when I was a kid. Now it looks like I'm watching I'm looking at politics, but I'm seeing it through a TV show, like as if they were having politics on that TV show. Like that's how it feels to me. It feels like two people acting out a narrative that is just, a scene in a movie.
Well, and what's interesting is the crazy thing is because we're moving out of the age of Pisces, that was a very slow age because it's water moves slow. Moving into the age of Aquarius, which is fast. So these pole shifts the last pole shifts that have taken place, they have seemed to take forever because of the age that we're in. But now these pole shifts that are taking place, they're going to evolve us so quickly.
Even technology.
Very quickly. So we're going to not be in this phase for long, whereas the flip, it's going to eventually even out itself to an egalitarian type society where we're all on equal footing, right? But for karmic purposes, Black people have to get their power back first, because you can't join somebody on equal foot when you're below equal. You know what I mean? And they're above equal. You can't join them and say, let's go all be the same now, because I'm not even up there.
Yeah, yet. I want my get back in a sense.
I'm not even up there yet. So my self-worth is down here. So this is not gonna work.
Y'all gonna have to deal with us empowering ourselves first. We
gotta empower ourselves first, and then we can come on equal footing, because only people who are empowered can be on equal footing.
I love it. So, I want to say thank you for joining my podcast. Thank you for every gem that you dropped off. With everyone that I bring on my podcast, I ask them for two things. One, powerful book that you recommend, and a powerful quote that people can apply to their life.
Oh, that's so hard. Everything's a powerful book that I read. And lately, the books that have been powerful to me are tech books.
That's cool. Drop them off.
I would say, and geez, God, that's so hard. What should you're making me like go in a spin in my head about so many different things. Like it has nothing to do. You need to read The Hijacking of Bitcoin by Roger Ver. That's my last book I read. And because I'm tired of explaining to people about crypto, and I'm tired of explaining to people why Bitcoin isn't the way. I am the founder of a crypto. I do have a book called Crypto for My People. So I definitely want y'all to get that. And I have another book called AI Explain: Humanity's Guides to Artificial Intelligence, which I published last year. So I am about to republish King Cardology because I find that it's crazy, but it's just something with men and books. Like, y'all gotta have it. Y'all gotta have it in a book.
Like good or
our
bad?
Book is life. Like women's book is life, men's book is book. Like they gotta have it in a book. Okay. They assimilate it so good in a book. So that's why one of my first books was actually for men. It was what Black men. It was called King Cardology. Okay. So I'm about to actually re-put that out again. Another edition. But I think that the best, and it's just so crazy. It's so many different.
It can be your own if you want.
No, I mean it's just that's so hard. I don't know why that's so hard for me because like every book I read is the book. You know what I mean?
It's all good. It's all good.
Every book out there is the book.
You gotta give me a powerful quote now.
Yeah. And then even books like the Bible and the Quran and the this and the that. Then you go back again and you find more information. But in Cardology, we have a book called Sacred Symbols of the Ancients. And that's a book that you can find. If you can't find it, you hit me if I can. But that breaks down a lot about cardology. And it's old, but it's very good.
I'm down for everything.
I was just going over it with my students yesterday because I part of the thing. I said, read this book. They don't read it. They're like, oh, it looks a little hard. But then I went over it with them. And it was like, oh, that's why you said to read it. But if you want to know more about cardology, definitely Sacred Symbols of the Ancients. There's another book by Only Richmond that's free out there. It's called The Mystic Textbook. But that's kind of hard. But a lot of people, they get into this Masonic stuff. They get into, because it has more than just cardology in it. It has a lot of Masonic connections and all this other stuff in it. That's the stuff you need to get. But we're moving into a Jack of Spades era. And the Jack of Spades, which is actually my Venus card for life, is essentially living life for experience, for knowledge. You know what I mean? The best knowledge you're going to get is experience and putting yourself out there. Travel, go to different places. That's what I do. I live out of my suitcase sometimes, So if I want to know about something over in the East, I'm going to go to the East.
To experience it yourself.
I'm going to go look at it myself. When I was younger, my mom used to make me read every book in the thing. I had to read What They Never Taught You in History class. I had to read Dr. Ben's books. I had a library of that stuff when I was younger. And when I got older, it became about the experience.
I like it. Is that your quote?
And that was one of my favorite books, by the way. One of my favorite books when I was younger was What They Never Taught You in History class. It just set it off for me.
Everything that you just plugged, I'm about to add them to my reading list.
Yeah, my mom gave me that. She would hand me books. Of course, Dr. York books, read all those and stuff like that. She would just hand me these books, and I would go through them like a junkie when I was that age. But I was in a different phase. I was in my learn and my experiment and my, succeed and fail phase. And now I'm in my wisdom years. I'm about to be 50 next month. So I am the book.
Happy solar return.
Thank you.
Once again, man, if you guys like everything that you hear, if you tuned in, if you got the message, if you just enjoy everything that we talked about, make sure you hit a like, a subscribe. Make sure you share it with your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle, everyone. And until next time, peace, love, and light. Big Swim.
Thank you.